Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast, all the stuff we did not get to during the course of the show today. I'm hopped up. I've only had a smidge of my coffee because it wasn't very good today. We had some problems at Dunkin', and that's not unusual for the one we go to. And so I was not, and it wasn't Gavin's fault. Gavin made the run, not his fault. But my coffee does not taste right. The Beast.
How much have you had so far?
Oh, look at this. I've had maybe not even a quarter.
Oh.
Man. Hardly any.
And your energy does not reflect the small amount of coffee.
Oh, I'm giving
that's been had.
Like main character, fully caffeinated energy today.
Yeah, extra large coffee.
Yeah, and it's not very good. So before we get into everything here, Gavin, back off paternity leave, had a baby boy named Bennett, and I have been impressed with the fact that you guys told me you went to the mall, and you guys, I mean, this child is less than a month old. And you guys are going out and spending time. I think that's healthy, man.
Yeah, he's had, he's been to restaurants so far. Haley did stop me from putting Chewy's jalapeno dip on his lips to see how he.
Oh yeah, that's
react.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe she held me back from a silly choice there.
Yeah.
But he's been to malls, which again most people would say oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
But we have, and
that's good.
No one touches him. Nobody touches him, and we put Germ-X on our hands after we touch anything before we touch him, which even some people might say is still a little bit high maintenance.
And when other people have kids, I'm way more sensitive to it than I used to be. When we had Haley, people were like, can I hold your kid? Sure. I'd let him hold the kid. And then my wife's like, did you wash your hands? I'm like, I don't know if they did. I didn't think twice about it, but I've gotten more sensitive to that. Sure. I actually, if I was to hold Bennett, then I would definitely wash my hands before I held him.
And mentally, I think for a guy too, there's a little part of you that's like, I don't have to hold him. Here you go.
Absolutely.
I'm okay with.
I'll give it to a serial killer.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Ridiculous.
If you can make him stop crying,
somehow take it.
I don't need to check backgrounds.
Yeah, no, absolutely
maybe
not.
Just throw Germ-X on your hands.
This is why men need to be watched.
This is why we have wives.
I know it's pretty great. So I have a gift for you that I've had since before Bennett was born, but then you were back in the studio, and I thought you were going to be here till Wednesday, and then your wife inconsiderately had the baby early, and so you had to leave early. I know. And so I did not get a chance to give you this extra little gift, but go ahead and open this right now if you don't mind.
I appreciate, too, that it's got the blue paper. You look like you bought a boy gift, too.
It is, it is. I'm glad you had a boy.
Extra box?
Yeah.
Okay.
There should be two things in there. I hope Marty has two things in there.
Get my... Okay.
Start with the other thing first, because this one is from specifically from Marty.
Oh, with the little Mickey.
Yeah, it's a little onesie.
Oh, look at it.
And it's all Mickey Mouse heads.
Mickey Mouse stuff.
That's cute.
It is adorable.
0 to 3 months.
Yeah, because he seems like a big boy.
Oh yeah. Well, it's interesting. His arms are really long, and his legs are long. And he's got big hands and big feet,
but he's little,
like his mom.
Yeah,
and so,
like his mom. His hooves like his mom.
But I'll put him in this later.
Yeah,
because this actually feels really high quality too.
Yeah,
that's super cool. Okay, and then this thing.
Yeah, this is the thing I found at a gift shop, and this is the thing my wife and I debated about. Okay, she's like. I'm like, it's a Harry Potter thing, and it's really cool. It's almost like a mobile. It's Harry Potter on one of those Quidditch brooms, but it spins around. He spins around over it.
Chasing the snitch. Do I put this... Where do I... This is something that, this part right here is like a base that just goes on the ground.
Exactly. Sit it on a shelf.
It looks like something that a kid could love and a cat could love at the same time.
Yeah.
If this thing was running around, would the cats want to...
Yeah, so you'd sit it on a shelf, and then he could look over at it spinning around like kids like motion. But I just thought it was really cool, and I'm like, I think they did a Harry Potter nursery. And my wife
did not think that.
She did not. And so after we had this conversation the other day, I went home and I said, guess what, wife? Wife who thinks she knows everything. Guess what? You do not know everything. You speak with authority, but you don't know everything. What?
Hello, pot.
I said they have a Harry Potter nursery, and I think that this will fit into that motif.
It definitely will. Well, and they say too. I don't know the science behind this, but they say that kids at this age really are really drawn to black, white, and red are the colors. Don't get that. Don't know why.
They don't, because they don't see a full range of colors yet.
Makes
They're like puppies.
Wally.
Yeah,
but this has got red on it, so maybe if it's spinning around, maybe he see.
Exactly.
Maybe he'll see it.
It is funny what amazes kids too.
I know,
and what makes kids. I will tell you this: one of the best part about being a father is when your kid stops crying, it's glorious. When they sleep through the night, it's glorious.
can't
But
wait.
then when there are things that they get this little gut laugh. And it doesn't even matter what it is. Like, it's the weirdest things. And they laugh till they almost can't breathe. It is one of the coolest things about having a kid. Like, it's funny. You start laughing, and it's great. You'll get to experience
I'm still
it.
working my way towards his first, like, real smile, because I think he has gassy smiles, which
Sure.
is, like, he's closed eyes, and you see
Yeah.
him kind of just tooting a little bit. But I
Yeah.
can't wait for the first. I try to tickle
I've seen
him
that same smile on Gavin.
me every day.
I sent him yesterday. I was on Instagram and I saw this video. I think I sent it to you, but it's this mom and she's got her infant son in a carrier and she's carrying him in the front. And all of a sudden, you just hear this.
Oh, no.
And
That's
I
all
mean,
you were sending me leading up to
it
Bennett
just
being-
dripped on her shoes.
Oh, no.
It was just on everything.
No.
Oh, I hadn't
Yes.
watched it yet. Is that
yeah.
what this is?
So just a heads up.
Yeah.
But it'll happen. It'll happen at some
Well,
point.
when
does.
because he hasn't had a quote unquote blowout yet.
Yeah.
Those
Oh, that's good.
So we're not there yet, but we were coming home, and I'm the one driving, and then Haley and my mom are in the back next to him in the car seat, and then all I hear is like, "Oh, he's ripping one."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, that's my boy."
Yeah.
And then we got home, but he was in the car seat, and I took him out, and I saw this little stain on his
Yeah.
his Pooh Bear ones. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, that's ironic." And so I was like, "Oh, so close." And then I opened him up. I'm like, "Okay, just a little. We're not in like close the nose, pray to God status."
It is funny, too.
You're not gagging either?
No, I don't.
Oh, good.
no.
Okay, that's
We're
good.
past that.
It is funny how, like, everyone is always like, you need to grow up, Wally. You need to grow up and stuff.
No.
And like
Yes.
toots are funny, and it's so funny that like I don't like saying fart. But
Saying what?
I don't want. I'm not
Toot?
saying it
What,
again.
what was the word?
I'm not saying it again.
I couldn't hear you.
It's the F word. I'm not saying it again.
Oh my word.
The FA
Different.
word. I need to be very clear there.
FAR. What?
Yeah, no. So I say toots, like an 8-year-old. And it is so funny how God made us, where He didn't have to make us where we made any sound at all. Like He totally could have designed this anyway. But even He designed the pull my finger, And so like He did, and in essence, He's to blame for that. And so like the fact that kids understand that this is just funny from a very early age. Like you'll see, like he might be 1 or 2, and it will crack him up. And, and you don't know why, and I don't know why, but like it's just funny. Like
I've seen videos of a dad, like the kid just runs down a hill and the kid just dies laughing.
Yeah.
And then the dad can't contain himself. He's
Yeah.
on the ground. You're like, I love
We're the
that
same
it doesn't
age.
make any sense to the kid.
Yeah, we're the same age. It just surprises us.
Yeah, they
So-
never
wait.
grow up.
No, we do not grow up. Speaking of not growing up, Katy Perry, she was talking about Orlando Bloom, who they were engaged in 2019.
Yeah.
So did they ever get married?
I don't think so.
So they got engaged but didn't get married.
have
that
a
feels
daughter.
weird. Yeah, that feels weird to me. Like, why do you get engaged and not follow that through? Because she comes from a religious background too. I don't know if people know that about her.
Yeah.
But apparently, though, she says, I have an intense love with Orlando. It's a beautiful love. She's starting to sound like Katy Perry to me. He's a free spirit. He's loyal. He's a Capricorn. He's not scared. He's spontaneous and checks all the boxes. But apparently, when they were dating, they had broken up for like a year. Before they got reconnected. And what's interesting about this, though,
Wonder why.
is, I don't know, she didn't talk about that, but she said that Bloom went to do some personal work with this thing called the Hoffman process. It's like a retreat where they rewire the way you think about yourself. And I guess he came back rewired, and they just didn't work anymore, And so then they split up. And she said it helps you rewire all the bad habits and rewrites your neural pathways. It's something I'm sure you pay a lot of money for. But she decided to go there when he came back, so he went there, and when he came back, she said they at least weren't playing the cat and mouse game anymore. But then she eventually attended that same retreat at the end of the year that they were separated. So they spent a year apart. She goes to the same retreat that he went to, and she's like, it changed my life. Everything started changing, helped me connect my head to my heart. And then they ended up getting back together, and I guess they've stayed together.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wonder how much she had to entice him to go. Like, I wonder if he really wanted to go to begin with.
I don't know. It sounds
it sounds like they broke up because they were drifting apart.
Yeah.
And they're like, we need to work on ourselves alone.
Or were they drifting apart and he's like, it's not you, it's me. And he really did need to work on himself. I'm curious about that.
Yeah, but I find it easier to believe that he's probably saying, there's nothing wrong with me. It's all you, and her being like, you need to go somewhere and work on yourself. I'm just saying, I wonder if he did it out of his own free will or if she had to coax him.
Can I tell you what happened? Would you like to know the answer?
Because you're going to speak with authority?
Yeah,
Yes.
this is what happened. They're having problems. They're not connecting. They're not clicking. And he breaks up with her. And he says, look, I love you. We're just not good together. It's not you. It truly is me. And she was like, oh, is it? Is it really? And he's like, oh, crud. I didn't know we were going to have more of a conversation. No, it's so not you that I'm actually going to a place called the Hoffman process, and I'm going to work on me. I'm going to do the work.
So he told a lie.
He forced himself into it. Then he had to go into it.
He started an entire organization just to
yes,
go.
Exactly,
The Hoffman
Gavin.
did not exist until Orlando Bloom launched it.
And he was like looking at walls, and he saw a poster of Dustin Hoffman. He's like, it's a place called the Hoffman process. That's where we're going. That's exactly what happened, Gavin.
And
he was locked in. And so he just got away from her for a year and then was like, oh, okay, I guess I kind of miss her. That's what happened.
That's the dream.
Let me ask you this.
What?
If Marty came to you and she said, I would like for you to go to this type of process.
Okay, yeah.
Would you do it?
Whew, tough call.
A year.
Tough call. I would want to get to the bottom of why she felt I needed that, I think I would be more hurt if she said, I could see her saying, hey, I don't like the way you behave in certain instances. Would you go talk to somebody about this? I could see that and respond better to that than I would her going, hey, I think we need to go to marital counseling. That would break my heart because I think we have a really good marriage. And so that would break my heart.
So it wouldn't break your heart for her to criticize how you handle situations.
Because I know I'm not great on certain things. I know I have issues.
But it would hurt you if she criticized y'all's relationship.
Yes.
Interesting.
Because outside of my personal issues, the issues that I'm fully aware of and know that I cannot change.
And just blame it on God.
Yes, exactly. These are the things I know, okay?
God wired me this way. I don't know.
Why he did it, I'll ask him one day. I'll ask him one day.
I cannot.
But I would understand that because she doesn't understand the way I'm wired. And so I could see her saying, would you go get some clarity so that you understand the way you're wired and maybe you would want to alter something. I could see that, or maybe out of a concern for you. You spend a lot of your time, because I'm never angry with her. Like I don't like go
Let
at
me
her.
say
I don't argue
one
with her.
word.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tires.
That was her fault. From years ago, that was on her. We've had two.
Two.
I
only knew of one. It was the new tires that she wanted or you wanted.
I wanted to get. She wanted me to wait a day later till they were on sale. And this is back when I was making so much money. It didn't matter, you know? And so I was like, I want to do it today. I have time today. Today's the day. And she was so mad that I went ahead and got those. And I had disrespected her and I didn't want to save the money.
How much money would you have saved?
Maybe $100. Like it wasn't like I'm saving $1,000. And again, you have to look at things like math wise. I was making huge money. And so $100 to me
was
at
nothing.
that point was honestly, it was nothing. I would walk around on a weekend and I'd have $500 in my pocket and we would go to the mall and I'd spend, whatever.
There was
It
something
didn't matter.
underlying there. It couldn't have been just the deal, right?
No, it was. For her, she's so frugal and she wants to buy everything on sale, which I love about her. It's great. But at the time, I didn't see it. And for me, it was about, I just want to get it done. I didn't want to do it tomorrow.
What was the second one?
Second one was a little harder, honestly. The second one was a bit that I did at a mainstream radio show that was wicked insensitive. And
that is so...
Yeah.
It doesn't fit your narrative
I know,
at
it's
all.
not on brand for me. So, yes. And so it was, the bit was so bad that some people got fired as a result of it.
Not
You?
Not me.
Oh.
Other people around me.
Dang.
Yes. And so it was very offensive. Let me just say, it was a very offensive bit to a segment of our society.
Do you agree that it was? Uh-oh.
I agree that it was insensitive, 100%. I also know that it was comedy. And we were in an era where
I think you just picture yourself constantly in a comedy club, like
Yes,
a stand-up
that was
comedy
it.
club, and things can be accepted there
Right.
because it's comedy.
Right.
But the problem is you're doing stand-up
Right.
in the world.
100%. Because the world didn't come here for that kind of thing. And so, yes, it offended a bunch of people. And then it got into people at my church. And so there were people at my church that this directly affected. And so my wife was
awkward.
That's different.
very, like a pastor. Like my wife was so mad at me and disappointed in me for this. I mean, it was bad. But the funny thing is like we never yell at each other. Like we don't argue like that. But it was a moment in our relationship where there was a massive divide between us.
And she didn't say you need to go and talk to someone ever?
No, because then I pulled the card. Look, this is what I do for a living. This is what pays for your
So
life.
it's either this
Right.
is what I do for a
Right.
living, this is what pays for your life,
Right.
or God, maybe this way
Right.
it's just how
Those are my two excuses. I bank on both of those. And like, I mean, since like I did.
Did you apologize to the people that got fired?
Yeah, because I went to bat for them. Like I was like, you should not be fired for this. I should be fired for this. I went in and told our GM that my boss had nothing to do with it. And I went to my boss. I know. I went to my boss and said, hey, man, I'm going to take the hit for this. There's no way they should be firing you. And he was so cool. He goes, look, dude. He goes, look, they're trying to get me for other things. They're just scapegoating me on this one. And he's like, you got a family. You just kind of moved here. Like, I don't want to see you take the hit. It's
Wow.
fine. Yeah, he was a
very
great guy.
kind.
But I did offer, and I went to my bosses and I said, no, I should be fired for this. Because I wrote it. I was the one that wrote it. It was my
Once
fault.
again, this is so out of the norm for you.
No, this is what I
Doesn't
do.
fit the
I
narrative.
always do that. I always take the heat for something I've done. So, but then I did go to like the people at our church that were offended, and I
How'd
told
that
them
go?
personally that I was sorry and that.
Did they accept it?
Yeah, he was really kind about it. I said, look, I told him, I said, I'm not going to make any like.
That's how God made me.
Yeah, I said, well, no,
That's how I'm wired.
no, I said I'm not
This
going
is
to
what
make.
I do for a living.
I said I'm not going to make any excuses.
This is
Oh,
who
for
okay.
what I did. I'm not going to try to justify it. I'm just telling you that I know that it hurt you and I know that it was in bad taste. I did this as part of what I do and what I thought was funny. And I understand how I do understand how it hit you really, really wrong. And I'm sorry for hurting you because my last thing I would ever do is hurt you, you know? And so and he was really kind about it. He was very kind about it.
When done, though, when you guys did whatever it was,
Yes.
did you foresee or like think, oh, I do think this could impact people. I'm going to do it anyway at the time,
That's a great question, Gavin.
knowing that something was
yes.
going to be
Because
bad,
you always,
even for the sake of
you
comedy.
always seem to come across as like hindsight's 20/20. I
Sure.
see it now.
And this-
but I can't. Don't sell yourself short, Wally. You can't be.
You are smart.
You can't be that dumb.
Yeah.
I will say that this is a commentary and a conversation about a past
Yes.
past situation.
Yeah, this has nothing to
this
do
is
with
not-
Way FM.
This is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
a,
this is
is
a
not
long time ago.
This is not a like we are actually slamming this version
Right.
of Wally
Yeah.
because we know that you worked in a
This
different
is
radio world.
This is old, young in his career, moving up through the ranks of mainstream radio that is wired for comedy and comedy as a victim, and you don't care about
with
it.
very few walls.
Yeah,
to
very
have
few.
to be cautious and curious. of.
No one was as politically correct as they are today.
Yeah.
For example, if I had done this bit today, I would have been fired instantly. They probably would have gotten a few other people. They would have got you two also. So yeah, like everyone would have been fired that touched it. They would have gone after me, socially canceled me, all of the other stuff, and tried to. No. But tried to. But people would have tried to ruin my career and make sure I don't work anywhere after this. Okay.
Okay, so then answer this question of Gavin's.
Yes, it was a
And
different.
let me reiterate the question in case you forgot. The question is, did you know it would offend people and then you just
And
did
get
it
people in
anyway?
trouble.
It
Get
was-
people fired.
Yeah.
It was a different time.
How old were you?
I was young 30s, I guess. So
Old enough to know better.
no, not necessarily. That's my job. So
It's his job. It's how he's wired, Gavin. You wouldn't get it.
we purposely
Oh, man.
every day when we did our show meeting for the next day, completely different than here. Like we look at things and we'll even talk about something and go, yeah, is that too negative? Like, should we maybe make it a little more positive? Let's take a different slant on it. Like, because we know the audience.
That's the audience. You got to read the room.
Exactly. I was reading the room back then. The audience didn't care about that. We woke up every day going, how can we do something that's going to offend somebody and get a rise out of somebody, get a reaction, make somebody mad? That's what we did every day. Like, we purposely looked for that.
Okay, that's fine.
Right.
That's fine. But you had to know whatever it is that you did was going to impact on a deeper level.
Especially for a church. That's
a church and also your boss. So it was impacting your company and your church.
I knew.
You couldn't have been that dumb.
I knew that it was going to be inflammatory, but not out of what we normally did. Like, it wasn't like this is so egregious.
So the people you were on the show with thought,
100%.
Did you not think that
100%. We all agreed.
You didn't think that the management. Did you not think that management would come after you for the
No.
thing? Okay.
I honestly didn't think that because this is what we did every day. We had
Obviously not.
Yes.
Obviously not, because your church didn't get.
Well, the pastor, because it offended him personally, because he had a person in this sect of our society.
Okay.
So it was personal. But not that it offended the church per se. So for me, I did not think so, because this was a Tuesday. You know, like it was, we did this every day. We offended somebody. I mean, we had guys on our show get arrested for doing bits before.
That's insane.
Like, so it was
I could not work in that environment. I would be like Gavin. I would have a tender tummy constantly.
I had to bail people out of jail for bits that we did on the street. So
So you were surprised.
I was surprised. 100% I was surprised. And especially at how mad my wife was with me. I was very surprised.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
She's such a peacemaker.
I understand it, but I was a little surprised at her. And then I got mad at her for not having my back.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I got everybody against me. So, yes. So to answer your question.
Or you were against me.
Yeah, we were going to do it regardless of the outcome, because we did not think the outcome
get in trouble too?
Going to be. No, because I wrote it. I was the one that got in the most trouble. But I can tell you this. We got suspended before for making fun of cyclists, and one of our guys on the show was like, "Oh, I run cyclists off the road." And kidding. He wasn't being serious. But then Fred goes, "Okay, Crash, you don't really do that." And he doubled down like, "Yes, I do. I hate cyclists." Oh, gosh.
Oh, no.
Cyclists went nuts. It went viral, in essence.
Yeah.
They started going from cyclists all around the country. They boycotted our advertisers. They cost us hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I get
We
it.
had a billboard campaign coming up that my company was so mad about us with this, for doing this. They took our billboards from us and gave them to our sister station as a punishment to help their ratings. Like, they were mad because we cost them about $500,000. And then we had to do like a "I'm sorry" thing, which was garbage because it wasn't real. And cyclists, I'm not going to say nope, not going to say it. My best friend is a cyclist. But anyway, so they were very motivated group, and they were very vocal, as is what happens now. That's why things get canceled and people get very vocal, because a small group gets offended and then they rally everyone and they go nuts.
But rightfully so. They should have been offended.
He was kidding. It wasn't serious.
He doubled down.
But it was obvious he was kidding. Like, it was not.
It?
Yes. It was. Does he have a record of ever injuring anybody? No. Like, it was dumb. And so it was people being inflammatory in a business where you were hired to be inflammatory. They hired us to push every button.
It sounds like we're going back into like the 90s, so let's just stop.
Yes. Okay. And we're here hired to push every faith button and to make everybody feel good about their faith. And so that's what we do.
I think it's a healthier you.
100%. I will tell you this. I have tapes of old segments and old bits we did that I can't listen to today. Honest, truthful. I have them. They'll come up on my phone every once in a while, or I was the one that archived all the shows, kind of like you do. I archived everything. I knew all the audio. A, I couldn't play it on the show or the Aftercast, and B, I can't listen to them in their entirety today because it was so inflammatory. And at the time, I thought they were hysterical.
And for you to hear it and accept that and know that says a lot.
We used to do street audio.
Let me just ask you this question, because there's a big thing that, like, when I started in radio, I started in country music.
Right.
That's what I was raised on. That's what I knew. And I thought I could fit in there. Probably could have, But I was raised in a podunk private school, and I go out into the secular world, and it's a whole nother genre. It's nothing what I thought it would be. So then I get into Christian radio. But I did it because I felt like there was no big purpose for the country music. Even though I listened to it, there's not really a big purpose behind it. Whereas with here, the music that we play, I feel like God can use me to help others in a positive way.
Right.
And so I did that because I didn't want to look back and feel like I regret some of the years.
100%.
Do you feel that way, though? When you listen back, like some of those years, do you feel like you wasted? Not wasted as in like, I mean, it turned out great because you ended up at Disney and all that stuff.
It led me to where I ended up.
Do you regret some of those years? Like, do you regret your work?
I regret people that I hurt. I truly do regret people that I hurt when I was coming up. There were some people I worked with that I ran right over. There were people that we did bits about that we ran right over or used. Absolutely. I do regret that. My worst days here now are if I have an altercation with somebody via email that they don't like something I said, and 9 times out of 10 I respond with kindness and some gentleness and explaining, and I handle it well. 9 times out of 10. Mm-hmm. There's every once in a while that something hits me wrong, and I fire back an email that I'm not proud of, and I hate going to my email and looking at my email because I know it's going to continue the fight, and then I have to eventually say, "Look, I'm sorry. I went out. I was off the ranch on this one. I'm sorry." Mm-hmm. And those are my worst days here now because most days, 9 out of 10 days, or except for that like one email, I walk out of here going, I'm glad we made people laugh today. I'm glad people enjoyed what we did. I hope that it grew them in their faith or helped them out of something that was heavy and dark. Like we had that lady that called earlier today, and she's like, I love what you guys do. You make me laugh, and it pulls me out of some pretty heavy times. Mm-hmm. I love that. Like those weren't days we ever had before.
Right.
And so there were days I dreaded going to work because, I knew there was still a part of my soul, because I was raised in a Christian home, I was raised in church, and there was a part of my soul that knew I wasn't doing right. But I justified it by, well, this is the job I'm at. This is what I have to do, And
What'd your mom say?
Oh, my mom never knew. And now she does because she listens to the podcast. Hey, Ma.
She never knew what you were doing? Like
she didn't know that stuff, no.
And neither did your dad?
No. They loved, like when I was at Radio Disney, like one of my best days was when my dad came in to see what we did, and he was so just happy and proud. And like hearing him, you're going to get me, hearing him towards the end of his life tell me that he was proud of me and what I did mattered, and he was so proud that I was using what God had given me to have a positive influence on people. It was like awesome for me. Like it was the best. It was one of my best days, and stuff. And
but
so
I don't think he could have said that had you stuck with the whole.
Absolutely not. No, I mean I would have been wealthy. But what would I have had?
Right. But all that to say, too, we're not sitting here saying that we don't listen to secular music.
Right.
Yeah. We do. We're not just listening to constant Christian music.
Absolutely.
But I will say, ultimately, what it comes down to is if I'm going to go to some place for 8 hours a day and give my life towards something, I want it to be towards something that's good, positive, and helps bring people closer to God.
Oh, I do, too.
And I feel like that's accomplished here, and I'm thankful for it.
I agree, and that's why I'm here, honestly, because I could go back and do the other. I could go back and make more money, but I'm here, and I stayed here through some really lean years where I was broke as a joke, but I stayed here because I felt like I was supposed to be here. Or the times I tried to leave, God didn't let it happen, And so I felt very strongly that I was here and I'm in the right place. Now, I think that time is coming to an end, but no, I'm just kidding. I think Betty's going to undo me here, and she's going to usurp me, and she's going to take over.
Oh, I don't want, no. Mm-mm.
You can have this seat.
I don't want it. I've said that before. I'll say it again. I don't want it.
Yeah, this seat is not always the funnest.
Too much stress for me.
Yeah. So anyway, but that was a really revealing self-look. So hopefully you don't hate me now. You would have hated me in the past for sure, 100%.
Hopefully you don't name it that. Hopefully you don't hate me.
Yeah. But this is, even if you think, oh, he's the worst, trust me, this is the best version of me. It's true. This is the best version of me. Okay. So,
it's just how God made him.
That's exactly
You
it.
wouldn't understand.
Yeah. All right, you got any birthdays?
I do.
Give it to me.
Joshua to his wife Jamie. Happy birthday, Jamie. Said Jamie is a loyal potty, which means she's fully expecting this shout out.
Love it. Yeah, Jamie.
Let's give her the song.
Happy birthday from all of us to you. Wish it was a birthday so we can party too.
Hey.
Love it.
And Josh might be trying to get a point across to Jamie, and I get it. Speaking of birthdays, what are some of your go-to presents for people that are difficult to shop for? Jamie, hands up.
That's
Yeah.
probably what you say.
Candles?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you what I do, but this is just a girl speaking, so it might not work for a guy. But I like to get a bath bundle together. So I'll get
Doesn't
a
work for a
loofah, some bath salts,
when I
a
do that.
candle,
Yeah, I would hate
some
that.
comfy socks. But it's something that's
I like
like
socks.
it comes in a bulk, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, it's just fun. It's sweet. It's cute.
Like we used to always do, like try to do big birthday presents and stuff and Christmas for each other and stuff like this. And recently, for my birthday, Betty Rock took me to lunch at Chewy's. Okay, and I was 100% fine with that because
with
most,
some other people, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, let's get some of his friends together
Yeah.
because you are a.
I'm tough to
rightfully
buy
so.
for.
Did
You
do
are.
that
You're tough to
not
buy for.
Have to like pay for the whole bill? Or?
she did not pay for the whole bill. She just paid for me.
Paid for him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I tipped well.
Yeah, she did. She did. So no, it
And
was,
I got us churros.
I know. I was not. Yeah, she got dessert. No, I was not bothered by that at all. I was actually happy with that
Yeah.
because I know that I am hard to buy for. The things I like that I really want are big ticket
expensive.
items, and I can buy those myself.
Yeah.
I don't need someone to buy those for me. So the fact that we just went to lunch.
And you had a great time.
I loved it. To me, that was all we needed to do and stuff.
I
And
had
so-
a kid for you.
I know. Thank you on my birthday. This is so
Stop
great.
that.
Way to one up me,
Yeah.
Gavin.
Gavin's pretty great.
Well, you can't do that for the people that are the hardest to buy for.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
So-
a tough pivot gift.
It is hard. Like like Greg is the same way as me. Greg has like anything he wants.
He's well off. So
Yeah,
like,
he's
what
well off.
What can you get him that he?
And he literally, if he sees something he wants today, he buys it today. He doesn't think,
Wow.
debate it
I
or
wish.
labor it or think of all the ramifications. He's like, I want that, and he goes and gets it. You know, good on him. I love that. I love that for him. I don't really do that. I will research something ad nauseum to the point where he has been like, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously, you have
Just
the
do
money.
it.
Go get it. Like,
Yeah,
stop
get
being
that.
cheap. You could be hit by a bus tomorrow, you know?
Yeah.
And so
I
there's
get it.
been times that I've been like, you know what? You're right. But like I found like it was his birthday. And so I try to find like little things that are connected to like us and things that we like. Like I know. Well, Gavin, you might like this. Because we are into F1 and we watch F1 and stuff like that. Gunter, who has recently left F1, wrote a book. So I got him Gunter's book because he likes to read, and so it's reading about something that we know about or we talk about. So it's a good thing. I'm also going to make a shirt. I wasn't sure about making him a shirt, but
that's
I'm
so cute.
making one for myself.
Okay.
that
Best
has
friends are forever.
That's
It has a little logo, and I think Gavin, you would like it. It's just a square, and it says box, box, box.
That's cool.
It's cool,
It
isn't
is
it?
cool.
Really
What does that-
subtle.
What does that mean?
Tell her what it means.
It's when the all the racers are out on the course.
Oh, it's an F8 thing.
and
F1.
F1.
Oh,
Stop
whatever.
that.
What's F8?
When we hit the
when we-
F8 to make an edit.
Yeah, it's when they have to come from the course into the pits where they will replace the tires. So when
And they
when
say
they need to go in there,
box,
they say
box.
box, box, box.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, no,
Exactly.
Why don't you
you're
say
'cause-
circle, circle, circle?
No, because you're
Wheels
coming
or
into
circles?
the box. It's called the box, and that's where you come into.
box, box,
and
box.
they
Why
say
you gotta say it 3 times?
Because they want to be very clear. Box, box, box.
Oh.
So that means because there's like noise on your headphones, and so you don't want to. You might think they said fox.
That's what I'm saying. What if the fox got on the
Right.
track?
Then you
and
would
they're
say,
like,
fox, fox, fox.
and they're
Yeah.
like, oh, he's pulling in. But
Right.
then a little fox would get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just a risk you run in F1. Yeah. So I'm like, so I didn't make him that shirt.
No, that's a little.
Why not?
No.
No, I think it's precious.
I think you can buy
and
a
on the
friend a
back,
shirt.
put best friends are forever.
Our F1 ever.
That's what I did for Joy
number
here,
one, too.
who does middays.
Yeah.
And I made her a shirt that said "Best friends are forever."
Nice.
And it was our heads that made us look like cats.
I love it.
but maybe
okay.
for girls, that's okay.
I think we need to wrap
Yep.
this up because we've gone for a long time, and I apologize. Hopefully, you have not a horrible view of me now, and that'll have to do
We We
it
all
for
hate
being.
you.
Thank you. That'll do it for the Aftercast. Thanks for being a potty.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.